They say some people come into your life and change everything. They leave a mark so deep that no matter how much time passes, no matter how far apart you are, you never really forget them. I met someone like that when I was 19. His name was Ethan, and for 3 perfect months, he was everything. Then he was gone, but I never forgot him. Even when I tried, even when I moved on, built a new life, loved other people, he was always there, a ghost in the back of my mind, a what-if that haunted every relationship I had after. This is our story. The story of a love that couldn't survive but never really died. The story of 2 people who couldn't be together, but never forgot. I met Ethan during the summer before my sophomore year of college. I'd gotten a job working at a beach resort on the coast renting out kayaks and paddleboards to tourists. It was supposed to be just a way to make money. Nothing special. Then Ethan showed up. He was the new lifeguard. First day on the job, he walked into the equipment shack where I was organizing life jackets. Tall, lean, with sun-bleached hair, and these incredible green eyes that seemed to catch the light. "Hey, I'm Ethan," he said, extending his hand. "Just started today, Noah," I said, shaking it. His hand was warm, his grip firm. "So you're the guy who's going to teach me where everything is?" Ethan asked, smiling. "Looks like it," I said, trying not to stare at him. That first day I showed him around the beach, explained how things worked, introduced him to the other staff. He was easy to talk to, funny, with this relaxed confidence that made you feel comfortable immediately by the end of the shift. We'd made plans to grab food after work. "There's this taco place down the street," Ethan said. "Supposed to be amazing? Want to check it out?" "Sure," I said, trying to sound casual when my heart was racing. At dinner, we talked for 3 hours. About everything: our families, our majors. He was studying marine biology. I was doing English literature. Our dreams, our fears. Ethan wanted to work in ocean conservation. I wanted to be a writer. "It's cool," Ethan said when I told him. "What do you write about?" "I don't know yet," I admitted. "I'm still figuring it out. Right now, I just write whatever comes to mind." "You'll have to show me sometime," Ethan said. "Maybe," I said, feeling my face heat up. When we left the restaurant, the sun was setting. We walked along the beach, shoes off, feet in the water. "I'm glad I took this job," Ethan said. "I almost didn't. I was going to work at my dad's office for the summer, but something told me to come here instead." "I'm glad you did too," I said quietly. Ethan looked at me, and something passed between us. Recognition, understanding, the beginning of something neither of us could name yet. Over the next 2 weeks, Ethan and I became inseparable. We'd work our shifts, then spend every moment after together. We'd explore the town, find hidden beaches, stay up late talking about everything and nothing. I learned everything about him. That he'd grown up in a small town in Oregon, that his parents had divorced when he was 10, that he loved the ocean more than anything, said it made him feel peaceful, that he played guitar and sang, but was too shy to perform for anyone. "Play something for me," I asked one night. We were at his apartment, a tiny studio he was renting for the summer. "I'm not very good," Ethan protested. "I don't care," I said. "Play anyway." So he did. He played this beautiful, melancholy song I didn't recognize. His voice was soft, a little rough around the edges, but genuine. I watched his fingers on the strings, watched his face as he sang, and felt something shift inside me. I was falling for him. Had been since the moment we met. When he finished, he looked up at me. "What did you think?" "That was beautiful," I said honestly. "Something I wrote," Ethan admitted. "About feeling lost? About trying to find where you belong. Do you feel lost?" I asked. "Sometimes," Ethan said, "but less so lately. Being here, being with," he paused. "Being here helps." The air between us felt charged. We were sitting close on his small couch, close enough that I could feel the warmth radiating from him. "Noah," Ethan said quietly, "can I tell you something?" "Anything," I said. "I'm gay," Ethan said, his eyes searching my face for a reaction. "I came out last year. My family, they didn't take it well. That's part of why I wanted to get away this summer. To be somewhere new, where I could just be myself. My heart was pounding so hard I thought he could probably hear it. I'm gay too. Ethan's face broke into this huge smile. Really? Really, I confirmed. I came out to my parents' freshman year. They were okay with it. Confused, but okay. It's good, Ethan said. That they were okay with it. We were still looking at each other, the space between us shrinking. I really want to kiss you right now, Ethan whispered. Then kiss me, I said. He did. It was soft at first, tentative, like we were both afraid of breaking the moment. Then deeper, more urgent. His hand came up to cup my face, and I felt like every nerve in my body was on fire. When we pulled apart, we were both breathless. I've wanted to do that since the day we met, Ethan admitted. Me too, I said. Every single day? That night was the beginning of everything. The next 8 weeks were the best of my life. Ethan and I were together constantly. We'd work our shifts, stealing glances at each other across the beach. We'd meet up after, go back to his apartment or mine, spend hours talking and kissing and learning each other. We kept it quiet from our coworkers. Not because we were ashamed, but because we wanted to keep it just ours. Our private world that no one else could touch. On my days off, Ethan would take me out on the water. He'd borrow a kayak from work, and we'd paddle out past the breakers, away from the crowds. We'd float there, the sound of the ocean all around us, and just be. I could stay here forever, Ethan said one afternoon. We were lying in his kayak, me between his legs, his arms around me. That would be nice, I said. I mean it, Ethan said. This summer, this feeling. I don't want it to end. Doesn't have to, I said, even though I knew it did. Summer was finite. School was starting in 3 weeks. We'd have to go back to our regular lives. What happens when we leave? Ethan asked, voicing the question we'd both been avoiding. I don't know, I admitted. Where's your school? Seattle, Ethan said. University of Washington. A stomach dropped. I'm at Stanford. That's like 12 hours away? 12 hours, Ethan repeated quietly. That's not impossible. We could make long distance work, could we? I asked. I've never done long distance before, neither have I, Ethan admitted. But I want to try. If you do? I turned in his arms to look at him. His green eyes were serious, hopeful, scared. I want to try, I said. Yeah, Ethan asked. Yeah, I confirmed. I don't want to lose this. Lose you. Ethan kissed me, right there in the middle of the ocean, and for a moment, I believed we could make it work. The last 2 weeks of summer felt both too fast and painfully slow. Every moment with Ethan felt precious, because I knew they were numbered. We took photos together at the beach, in his apartment, at all our favorite spots around town, trying to capture the feeling of those days so we could hold on to them. Promise me something, Ethan said one night. We were lying in his bed, the window open, the sound of the ocean drifting in. Anything? I said. Promise me we'll fight for this, Ethan said. When things get hard, when the distance feels impossible, promise me we won't give up without trying. I promise, I said. I'm not ready to let you go. I'm not ready to let you go either, Ethan said, pulling me closer. Our last night together, we didn't sleep. We stayed up talking, making love, trying to memorize every detail of each other. The way Ethan's hair fell across his forehead. The sound of his laugh. The feel of his skin against mine. I love you, Ethan said as the sun started to rise. I know it's fast. I know we've only known each other for 3 months. But I do. I love you, Noah. I love you too, I said, tears already forming. So much. We held each other as the light filled the room. Both of us crying, both of us knowing that in a few hours, we'd have to say goodbye. Long distance was harder than either of us expected at first. We talked every day. Video calls, texts, long emails, where we'd tell each other everything about our days. We'd fall asleep on video chat, phones propped on pillows, just wanting to feel close to each other, but school was demanding. Ethan had labs and field research. I had classes and my writing workshop. Time zones weren't a huge issue, but schedules were. We'd plan calls that one of us would have to cancel because of an assignment or a group project. The physical distance was the worst part. I'd see couples on campus, holding hands, kissing between classes, and I'd feel this ache in my chest. I missed touching Ethan, missed the casual intimacy of being in the same space. "I miss you," I'd tell him during our calls. "I miss you too," Ethan would say. Only 8 more weeks until Thanksgiving break. But 8 weeks felt like forever when you were in love and alone. We made it through fall semester. I flew to Seattle for Thanksgiving to meet his family. It was awkward. His parents were polite but cold, clearly uncomfortable with Ethan being gay, uncomfortable with me being there. His younger sister was nice, though, pulled me aside and thanked me for making her brother happy. Those 4 days together were incredible. Just being in the same city, being able to touch him, wake up next to him, reminded me why we were doing this, why the distance was worth it. "I hate that you have to leave," Ethan said at the airport. "I hate it too," I said. "But it's just a few more weeks until winter break. Come to Seattle for New Year's," Ethan said. "My roommate will be gone. We can have the apartment to ourselves." "I'll be there," I promised. But I never made it to Seattle for New Year's. 3 days before I was supposed to fly out, my grandmother had a stroke. She'd practically raised me. My parents both worked long hours, so I'd spent most of my childhood at her house. She was one of the most important people in my life. I called Ethan from the hospital. "Can't come," I said. "Try not to cry." "My grandmother, she's in the hospital." "It's bad, Ethan. Really bad." "God." "No," Ethan said. "I'm so sorry." "What can I do?" "Nothing," I said. I don't know. I'm sorry. I know you were looking forward to New Year's." "Don't apologize," Ethan said firmly. "Your grandmother needs you." "I understand. Family comes first. I love you," I said. "I love you too," Ethan said. "I'm here if you need me. Anytime, okay?" My grandmother died 2 days later. I was devastated. The funeral was the day after New Year's. I barely functioned. Going through the motions in a grief-stricken haze, Ethan called every day, texted constantly, did everything he could to support me from 12 hours away. But it wasn't the same as being there. I needed physical comfort, needed someone to hold me while I fell apart. And Ethan couldn't give me that. Spring semester was worse. The grief made everything harder. I was struggling with my classes, couldn't focus on my writing. I'd gained weight from stress, stopped caring about my appearance, withdrew from my friends. Ethan tried to be there for me, but the distance made it difficult. Our calls became shorter, less frequent. Sometimes we'd go days without talking because I just didn't have the energy. "Talk to me," Ethan would plead during our calls. "Let me help." "You can't help," I'd say. "You're not here. You can't fix this from Seattle." "I know I can't fix it," Ethan would say, frustrated. "But I can listen. I can be there for you emotionally, even if I can't be there physically." "It's not enough," I'd snap, then immediately regret it. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean that." "I know you're hurting," Ethan would say, "but you're pushing me away, and I don't know how to reach you anymore." The fights became more frequent. About little things, missed calls, forgotten plans, misunderstandings over text. But really, they were about the distance. About the fact that we were trying to maintain a relationship across 12 hours and 2 completely different lives. "I don't know if I can do this anymore," I finally said one night in March. It was 2 a.m. my time, 11 p.m. his. We'd been on the phone for an hour. Another fight about me canceling plans. "Don't say that," Ethan said, his voice breaking. "Please, Noah, we can figure this out, can we?" I asked. "Be honest, Ethan. Is this working? Really working?" Silence. "I love you," Ethan finally said. "That hasn't changed." "I love you too," I said. "But maybe love isn't enough. Maybe we were stupid to think we could do this." "We weren't stupid," Ethan insisted. "We're just going through a hard time. You're grieving. You're not yourself. But it'll get better. We'll get better. What if we don't?" I asked. "What if this is just how it is now? What if the distance is too much? Then we find a way, Ethan said desperately. We transfer schools. One of us moves. We make it work because losing you isn't an option. But it felt like we were already losing each other. We broke up in April. It wasn't dramatic. There was no big fight, no huge betrayal. We just ran out of steam. Can't do this anymore, I said during a video call. I was exhausted, emotionally wrung out. I love you, Ethan, but I'm drowning. Between grief and school and trying to maintain this long-distance relationship, I can't keep all the plates spinning. So what are you saying? I'm saying maybe we need to take a break, I said. Maybe we need to focus on ourselves for a while. Get our lives together separately before we can be together. A break, Ethan repeated. You mean breaking up? I don't know, I said honestly. Maybe I just know I can't do this right now. This isn't what I want, Ethan said. It's not what I want either, I said. But it's what I need. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry, Ethan said, wiping his eyes. I get it. I hate it, but I get it. Maybe someday, I said. When we're in a better place, when we're in the same city, maybe we can try again. Maybe, Ethan said, but he didn't sound convinced. We ended the call. I sat in my dorm room and cried harder than I had since my grandmother died, because I'd just lost another person I loved. And this time, it was my choice. I didn't talk to Ethan for 2 years after that. It was too painful. Every time I thought about reaching out, about checking on him, I'd remember how much it hurt, and I'd stop myself. Clean break, I told myself. It was better this way. I threw myself into school, graduated with honors, got into a graduate program for creative writing, started dating other people, casual things that never got serious because I couldn't seem to let anyone in the way I'd let Ethan in. My friends told me I needed to move on. It's been 2 years, they'd say. You need to get over him. But you don't just get over someone like Ethan, someone who marked you that deeply. I'd think about him constantly. I wonder what he was doing, if he'd finished his degree, if he'd moved on. If he ever thought about me, I'd see things that reminded me of him, someone playing guitar, documentary about the ocean, a guy with sun-bleached hair. Each time, it was like a punch to the gut. I wrote about him. Not directly, but he was there in everything I wrote. The ghost in every love story, the memory in every character who'd lost someone. My professor in grad school commented on it. There's a recurring theme in your work, she said. Loss, longing, love that couldn't last. Where does that come from? Personal experience, I said vaguely. Well, it's powerful, she said. Painful, but powerful. Channel that. Use it. So I did. I wrote a novel about 2 people who fell in love one summer, tried to make it work, failed, and spent years wondering what if. It was fiction, but it was also our story. Ethan and me, disguised as characters with different names. The novel got published. It was a small press, nothing major, but it was real. My first book, I almost sent Ethan a copy. Almost reached out after 2 years of silence to say, I wrote this. For us, because of us. But I didn't. Because what was the point? We'd moved on. Or at least, we were supposed to have. I saw Ethan again 3 years after we broke up. I was in Seattle for a book reading. My publisher had arranged a small tour, 5 cities, 5 readings. Seattle was the 3rd stop. I'd thought about the possibility of running into him. Seattle was a big city. The chances were slim. But I'd thought about it anyway. The reading was at a small bookstore in Capitol Hill. About 30 people showed up, which was more than I'd expected. I read a chapter from my book, took questions, signed copies. After, was packing up my things when I heard a voice I'd recognize anywhere, Noah. I turned around, and there he was. Ethan, he looked different. Older, more filled out. His hair was shorter, his face more mature, but those green eyes were the same. Ethan, I breathed. What are you doing here? I live here, he said. In Seattle. I saw online that you were doing a reading, and I wanted to come. You read my book? I asked. Of course I read your book, Ethan said. I've been following your career. I'm proud of you, Noah. You did it. You became a writer. Thanks, I said, not sure what else to say. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely think. "Can we grab coffee?" Ethan asked. "If you have time?" I'd like to catch up. Should have said no. Should have protected myself from the inevitable hurt of seeing him again. "Sure," I said instead. "I'd like that." Went to a coffee shop down the street. Ordered drinks, sat at a corner table, and for a moment just looked at each other. "You look good," Ethan said finally. So do you," I said. "How have you been?" "Good," Ethan said. "I finished my degree. I'm working for an ocean conservation nonprofit now. It's what I always wanted to do." "It's amazing," I said, genuinely happy for him. "I'm glad you're doing what you love. What about you?" Ethan asked. "Besides the book, how have you been?" "Okay," I said. "Grad school was hard but good. The book was therapeutic to write, actually," I figured Ethan said, with a small smile. I recognized us in it. The summer. The long distance. The ending. Was it too obvious? I asked. "Only to me," Ethan said, "because I lived it too." We talked for 2 hours. About our lives, our jobs, our families, skirting around the important questions, the ones we were both afraid to ask. Finally, Ethan asked it. "Are you seeing anyone?" "Not right now," I said. "I've dated people." "Nothing serious? You?" "Same," Ethan said. "I was in a relationship for about a year. It ended 6 months ago. I'm sorry," I said. "Don't be," Ethan said. "It wasn't right. He was great, but he wasn't you." The words hung in the air between us. "Ethan," I said quietly. "I'm not trying to start anything," Ethan said quickly. "I just wanted you to know that I never really moved on. I tried, but I couldn't." "I couldn't either," I admitted. "Every person I dated, I compared them to you, and none of them measured up." "So what do we do?" Ethan asked. "We're in the same city now. We're both single. We clearly still have feelings for each other." "I don't know," I said honestly. "I'm scared. What if we try again and it doesn't work? What if we hurt each other again? What if it does work?" Ethan countered. "What if this is our second chance? What if the universe brought you to Seattle for a reason?" I wanted to believe that. I wanted to believe that we could try. Again, that this time would be different. "I'm only here for 2 more days," I said. "Then I'm back to California." "So move here," Ethan said. "Or I'll move there. We're not 19 anymore, Noah. We're not tied to schools or summer jobs. We can make choices now." "That's a big choice," I said. "I know," Ethan said. "But I've spent 3 years missing you. Wondering what if. I don't want to spend the rest of my life wondering." I didn't move to Seattle. And Ethan didn't move to California. What we did was agree to try. Really try this time. Long distance again, but with visits every few weeks. With plans to eventually close the gap when one of our careers allowed it. It was hard. Just as hard as it had been the first time. But we were older now, more mature, better at communication. We made it work. 6 months later, I got a job offer. Teaching position at University of Washington. It felt like fate. "Take it," my friend said. "Move to Seattle. Be with him. What if it's a mistake? What if I uproot my life and it doesn't work out? What if you don't and spend the rest of your life regretting it?" They countered. I took the job. Moved to Seattle. Moved in with Ethan. It wasn't perfect. We had adjustments to make. Arguments about whose furniture to keep. Disagreements about household chores. Real-life stuff that romance novels don't prepare you for. But it was real. And it was ours. That was 5 years ago. Ethan and I are still together. We bought a house near the water. Got a dog named Finn. Built a life that we both love. We got married last year. Small ceremony on the beach where we met. The same beach where we'd spent that summer falling in love. "I told you," Ethan said during our vows. "That summer? I told you I could stay there forever." And I meant it. Not the place, but the feeling. The feeling of being with you. That's what I wanted forever. "You have it?" I said. "You have me forever." People ask us sometimes about our story. About how we made it work after breaking up after years apart. Couldn't be together the first time, I tell them. The timing was wrong. We were wrong. But we never forgot. We carried each other through every relationship, every moment, every year. And when the time was right, we found our way back. Some love is meant to be, Ethan adds. But sometimes it's not about the first time. Sometimes it's about finding your way back after losing each other. We were 19 when we met, 22 when we broke up, 25 when we found each other again, 29 when we got married, 10 years since that first summer. 10 years of loving Ethan in one form or another, sometimes together, sometimes apart, but always loving him. We couldn't be together the first time. The distance was too much. The timing was wrong. Life got in the way, but we never forgot. And that made all the difference. Because sometimes love is patient. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes it lets you go so you can find your way back when you're ready. And sometimes the people who couldn't be together at 19 are the people who were always meant to be together. They just needed time to figure it out. We couldn't be together, but we never forgot, and in the end, that was enough.